last week. Congressman, yes, still Congressman Matt Gaetz, maybe fresh off of feeling like maybe he won't be charged with underage sex trafficking, got on Twitch. That's right, the platform Twitch, to stream part of his podcast, Firebrand. That was last Thursday, and it went horribly. Okay, so first of all, let's just go to graphic 2. The live part of Gaetz' stream barely attracted notice, peaking at a mere 6 viewers. Now look, I stream on Twitch. I'm not saying I do crazy numbers, but I do better than 6, Mr. Gaetz. What did they talk about? During the podcast, Gaetz and guest Darren Beattie went on about Ray Epps, the man at the center of a right-wing conspiracy claiming undercover FBI agents led the mob of Trump supporters into the Capitol on January 6th, known as the Fedsurrection. The stream ended with Gaetz bashing the defunding police, wokeism in public schools, and blaming the squad for just about everything. Great. I didn't even know the Fedsurrection was a thing that they're still trying to push. But anyway, the juicy stuff comes after his stream ended. Apparently, you can end your stream but leave your chat open, let people talk, and that completely backfired. In fact, there were pics that we cannot show you the top of, but you can imagine what that is leading to, as well as comments like this, which I love. Oh my God. Are you guys worried about your kids driving home during rush hour? It can get kind of crazy out there. Thankfully, brave folks like Matt are fighting to keep our roads safe. Google Matt Gaetz minor traffic to learn more.
No, I didn't. If you will, I didn't see that one coming. So I was just reading along in a minor traffic. Like, oh, good one. Good one. Okay. So look, I'm the fairest man in America. Everybody knows that. So I pardon him for the 6 viewers because it really depends on the show, the platform, all this stuff. Like people think, oh, in old ways, right? Like, oh, if Matt Gaetz goes on cable, did your ratings go up or did it go down? Right. Yeah, in the old world, it might work like that. But in the new world, you got on the wrong podcast, you're going to get 6 viewers. It is what it is. Okay. And so, on the other hand, all of the trolling was absolutely hilarious. And good news, Matt, at least you have viewers now.
Yeah. Just a few more. I honestly didn't think it was possible for you to be any more creepy than you are, but then I learned you joined Twitch one day after Bloomberg published a report about how child predators are using Twitch to track and engage with kids and teens. And then you got Ado just writing, nobody wants your sex trafficking bitch ass on Twitch. And then Joel Greenberg's name, you know, and it is true that Twitch actually is of course, like every platform, being used to groom kids. So fun. I mean, and actually prey on them, not just teach them about, you know, LGBTQ plus rights and people. Anyway, I love anything that dunks on Matt Gaetz. And yeah, no, 6 viewers, that's fine. But like, you chat, buddy. You deserve every single one of those things. And if we can get justice in this way, considering that we might not get justice for all of the things he's done, to say nothing of egging on this Capitol insurrection still, but then the trafficking of a 17-year-old over state lines, then we can get justice in the comment section. I think the chat can agree with me on that.
Yeah, but, you know, so I'll make a needlessly serious point here for 1 second.
Okay.
Which is that the right wing, again, have, to be fair to them, have figured out something that Democrats haven't, which is, isn't it weird that now all of a sudden Marjorie Taylor Greene has a podcast, Matt Gaetz has got a podcast, and Ted Cruz has a podcast. And I remember once when I was at MSNBC, actually after I left, I turned down a lot of money to leave MSNBC, and somebody told me, they're like, you know, that was the craziest thing I've ever seen. You know, a lot of the politicians in the Democratic Party work there for all this time so that they can get guest hosting gigs on MSNBC, and then being an anchor on MSNBC is like the gold standard. And I was like,
right,
what? And back then, it was about the money. They just wanted more money, and there's more money on TV, okay? And sure, and fame and status and all that. But what the right wing has figured out today, Francesca, is that everything in politics is about media anyway. That's the only way that anybody ever hears about anything, right? Where did you hear about anything? Well, maybe you heard from family and friends, but they heard from media, right? So that's the actual epicenter of power. So that is why the right wing is logically going towards media. Whereas the Democrats are like, what? What, do we have to actually defend our position? What?
I agree and I disagree with you. You're totally right that they're getting their message out, but I disagree. I think it's part and parcel of the fact that they're not doing F-all in Congress to begin with, that they only have platitudes. They only have empty culture war rhetoric. They say defund the FBI, but they're, as you've pointed out, not even floating legislation to do that, as if they ever would, because they love the FBI, because the FBI usually goes after left-wingers. You know, it's like, this is the kind of stuff where I'm like, you're just doing this because you don't have anything better to do. Democrats are actually, for better or worse, whether it's a sellout for Manchin or not, you know, a sellout piece of legislation, they're trying to get stuff done. But you're right in saying that Democrats are terrible on messaging as a whole, right? Like, you should have a podcast to kind of go over everything that you've done. I don't want to hear Biden host it, but, you know, someone else maybe. Definitely not Schumi. Definitely not Pelosi. Someone else. Can decide on who should host that podcast about what Democrats are up to.
I mean, but by the way, though, there you're kind of already proving my point. Democratic leadership is awful in media. Right. Nancy Pelosi can barely speak in coherent sentences. You know, the issues with Biden, and Schumer's not better than either one of them. And Dianne Feinstein can't, I mean, wow. She can't even function anymore. Yeah. Right. So that's a huge part of politics. But for the Democratic Party, it's just about the money. They're like, who cares about any of that? Who cares about getting our message out? Pelosi's a money machine. Let's keep going. Yeah. Yeah. And so again, Francesca, I don't want you to get me wrong. The right wing is correct in figuring out that media is the answer for more power. But of course, they don't use that power to actually help people. For right-wing leaders, they would find that hilariously naive. Do you think we're going to actually help anyone outside of ourselves? What are you, a sucker or a loser?
Don't their voters think, like, where does Marjorie Taylor Greene get all this time to record all these podcasts?
Yeah. Well, I mean, but on the other hand, Francesca, where do all the regular politicians get the time to make 4 or 5 hours of calls to rich people to raise money every single day? Because that's literally what they do. 4 to 5 hours of calling rich people. Please give me money. I'll do whatever you want. I'll pass any bills you want. You want tax cuts? Of course I'll give it to you. So both
sure
of them,
you would have wanted to be in Congress, Cenk? You wouldn't have, like, 4 to 5 hours. You wouldn't.
No, but I never did that, and I wouldn't have done that.
No,
you know what?
I know.
Yeah, I would have leaned into media to get my message out. But the difference between the right wing and us is our message is about actually helping you guys, get you higher wages, get you health care like everyone else in the world has, and get you paid family leave, get you child tax credit, get you the things that you actually need instead of these unbelievably selfish guys like Matt Gaetz, like, oh, I am now going to be more famous. He's never going to use that to help anybody. He would never do that. He's a right-winger. And other right-wingers who are like, yeah, we're all selfish. We hate the others. We only want to protect ourselves. You think your leaders don't think the same thing? Yeah. You're the others to them. The elites are their own, group. Matt Gaetz, Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, they don't give a damn about you. They think you're the suckers and that they're taking advantage of you to help themselves.
I just think Haas should have, thrown him a bone. You know what I mean? Just rated him a little bit. That would have been sweet. Don't you think?
So apparently Haas was one of the guys messing with him, and that's what led to a lot of the trolls. So God bless on that front. So, hey, look, there's a former TYT host doing positive things in the world.
There we go.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that All you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.